we had a congresswoman from Ohio, I think her name was Marcy Kaptur. She recently said that she wasn't sure where Elon Musk loyalties lay because he'd only been a citizen for 22 years. He's a naturalized citizen. This is very interesting because remember, the left says that people who are here illegally and not citizens should gain all of the protections and rights of citizens. They should be de facto citizens. Anybody who would question a naturalized citizen's loyalty, according to the left, would be xenophobic, nativist. I think Representative Kaptur has actually voted for resolutions damning, if I could use that word, Republicans for being insensitive to the status of immigrants, whether legal or illegal. This follows a whole series of personal attacks. We had posters in Washington, D.C. saying, "Eliminate Musk." We had a man arrested from Indiana online for threatening to kill Elon Musk. Here in California, we have Representative Garcia, I think his name is, and he was on television, and he said that Elon Musk was a DICK, and when called on it, he said you had to bring weapons, i.e. against Musk, for this bar fight. Weapons. Then we had this unhinged minister, Cottle, was that his name? I think it was, Steve Cottle from Tennessee. And he got up in his pulpit, and it was televised, and he said that Elon Musk was satanic, a devil, and sometimes you had to use violence to stop such devilry. Add all of this up, and you're getting to the situation in which the bar of what is permissible has been drastically lowered. We have turned someone who has saved the U.S. space program and will probably save 2 astronauts who otherwise would perish in space if it was left to the government program, who reinvented the entire auto industry, who opened up all of social media with X. We have turned this person into a demon, a disloyal demon, a traitor, someone that we smear and we slander all day long. For what? For saying the following, that the $36 trillion in debt and the 1.5 to 2 trillion, and Joe Biden in some years had $5 and $6 trillion deficits, are unsustainable. And through a series of revenue enhancements and drastic cuts of programs that are unnecessary, we can get near a balanced budget. He takes no money. He's not confirmed as the head of a government agency, but of course there's all sorts of deputies and heads of agencies that require no confirmation, including the National Security Advisor of the United States of America. So what is my point? We saw this earlier with Donald Trump. Just a few days before the first assassination attempt, Joe Biden told a group of people that it's time, quote, to put Donald Trump in the bullseye. He ranted and raved about semi-fascist and ultra-MAGA as if they were somehow dangerous insurrectionaries and threatened the republic. At the same time he was saying this, the New Republic ran a cover story of Elon Musk as Hitler with a Hitlerian mustache. Remember, we had retired generals who said he was Nazi-like. He was equivalent to people who had set up the concentration and indeed death camps at Auschwitz, and he was synonymous with Mussolini. And what did that do? That lowered the acceptable discourse, and that lowering of discourse led to acceptable behavior, such as 2 assassination attempts. So all I would warn the left is, I think it's time to stop this, because if you continue this rhetoric, somebody, as this person in Indiana or this minister in Tennessee, is going to openly call for violence, if they have not already, against one of the most iconic Americans in our history. And when that happens, the responsibility is going to be on you. So it's time to tone down the rhetoric and stop comparing a Renaissance American citizen, to one of the worst mass murders in history.
That man right there, Victor Davis Hanson, is one of the few men that I say has wisdom currently in America. I can think of another man that I'm going to interview on Friday, retired Colonel Douglas McGregor has wisdom. But outside of those two men, I'm very hard pressed. I would have said Thomas Sowell, uh, Pat Buchanan. Pat Buchanan is must be in the very last days of his life. We haven't heard from him in over 2 years. Um, those men have wisdom. That's why I played this. I saw this another. Whenever you're watching Victor Davis Hanson, it's hard to cut. Like some people, you take their videos and you cut and say, okay, that's a good place to stop. With Victor Davis Hanson, he goes for 5, 6, 7 minutes straight with point after point after point, and it's filled with wisdom. And I felt like this was something that needed to be shown and played because I do believe Elon Musk will be have a assassination attempt made on his life, and I do believe an assassination attempt on Trump is imminent as well. It just has to be. This is just look, man. In law enforcement, you can begin to see the telltale signs of things, and everyone else in your society or culture can be shocked when bad things happen. But guys that are watching this stuff and listening to people, we're not shocked when bad things happen. In fact, we're like, well, I'm really surprised it took this long. And I'm really surprised that they haven't taken or have taken a chance of eliminating Donald Trump or Elon Musk. Elon Musk already openly admits that I'm scared to death. I'm going to get killed. Think of it from their perspective. Okay, let's look at it from our perspective first on Donald Trump, because everything flows through Donald Trump. Elon Musk is being attacked because he flows through Donald Trump. So let's take Donald Trump at how we view him on our side. We see him as the only man that could run the MAGA party. This isn't about Republicans. It has nothing to do with Republicans because they don't represent us. Everyone voted for Trump, not for the R. Everyone voted for Trump because of Trump and America First. That's it. That's the honest truth. We didn't care if he had no letter by his name. It didn't matter. He was going to win. We know that there's no other man in politics, no other man in society or any type of business could take his place and do what he's doing. None. Maybe there's people that share his ideas, like me and maybe some other guys that are. But we don't have the money. We don't have the power. We don't have the wisdom of being 70 something years old and gone through the life experience he has. We don't have it. And then if you try to dip into the Republican Party, well, of course, there's no one there. Think for a second if Trump was gone, just gone like he doesn't exist. What are we doing today, Doge, tearing down Department of Education, going through all of our departments and agencies? Tell me something that can be going on today. Anything that Donald Trump's doing right now, building the wall, putting the border, the military on the border, making the drug cartels enemies of the state, terrorist organizations. Go ahead, tariffs. The probability of ending the income tax, slashing the payroll of the IRS to the point where he's going to make it almost just like a tax collection agency, like a collections agency for fees with no bite. Nothing that Donald Trump is doing right now, any Republican would have done. None. Do I want JD Vance to rise up? Yeah. I like him to follow Trump. Am I totally sold on him? No. But 4 years of him learning literally a PhD level of how to run a nation. I mean, 4 years of just watching the master and having long discussions with the master about how to do things. That's going to accelerate JD Vance's intellect, his savviness, his negotiation skills. It will harden his resolve. But let's flip this now. The left How do they view Trump? They view Trump the same way that I described him from our side. There is no one else besides Trump. There is no one on the bench to take his spot. There is if Trump wasn't there, none of this would be happening. And there's the rub. If they eliminate Trump, then they own the whole system again. Because there's no one to take his spot. And Americans are not solidified in their beliefs to rise up and demand answers. Who are we going to demand answers from? We're barely getting the answers right now. And that's frightening, because what the left is going to do is they're going to make a strategic and calculated decision here really soon. How much longer can we take of this man? And do we need to act now or later? And how are they going to act? I believe they're going to try to spin up. Well, I think they're going to have a plan on their own, but at the same time, they're going to spin up the crazies. Because right now on X, Instagram, TikTok, and every other social media platform, there is this newfound expression, if you will, asking for someone to kill Donald Trump without actually saying it. And it's spreading like wildfire. And we have a lot of crazies in our world, especially in our country. Let's take Elon Musk. You kill Elon Musk, the wealthiest man on planet Earth, has all of the security apparatuses you can imagine, probably has all kinds of intel tweaking devices that pick up all kinds of threats, and he gets whacked. Who's going to take that job? The answer is nobody. You know it, and I know it. No one's going to take that job. And that's when we played this clip of him on Joe Rogan saying that he's afraid. He's afraid of speaking out because he's going to get killed. My challenge to him, or my plea to him, is the reason why they are holding that threat of killing you is to keep you quiet. And the pressure just builds every single day that you don't come out and speak the truth. They think that's one, and they don't look at it as, oh, they're getting to you and you're going to remain silent. In their mind, they're calculating, when are you going to speak the truth? So the pressure begins to build. You're Elon Musk. By remaining silent, you're building a pressure cooker, and it will explode. But if you just simply stated the truth as it is, no matter how damning it is, the pressure gets released, because the people that now want to keep you silent, they can't keep you silent. You've already divulged all the information. It's all in black and white. They can kill you, but what are they going to gain from that? Sure, there's retribution, but ultimately you're going to put a spotlight on people that have been stealing, that we can't even really put a felony, that seems sophomoric to put a felony tag on it. It's a treasonous tag. And what will they do? They'll be running for the hills and playing self-preservation and survival. I don't believe Donald Trump has, and Elon Musk has, an option here. There's no turning back. It's not like they can just try to put that genie back in the bottle and go, hey, everything's okay. They can stop, but there's the momentum. They don't have. There's no stopping this now. I mean, it would devour their life. That's all anybody would ask them, day in and day out. Why did you stop? Why did you stop? The beast is moving. There's no stopping this giant boulder rolling down the hill. It's just destroying everything in its wake. But there is a new trend to assassinate him, both of them. I'm going to play you 2 or 3 of these, but they're endless. They're endless on social media. Go ahead and play this first one, please, Logan. I think there's a curse word I need you to bleep out, please.
I promised myself I would avoid the news, but obviously I haven't. Here's my one thought. I mean, I have many thoughts. Elon Musk, like, we need to X him, and by X I mean formerly known as assassination. I know someone from FBI is going to know about him.
That you wake up one morning, just a random morning.
You don't have enough people to even investigate me at this point. I haven't filed my taxes in like 8 years, and yet no one's covered me.
Wait till I show you this next one. So you have that one going ahead. We have to kill him. Elon Musk has to die. Have to X him. And then we get the joy of trying to go after Donald Trump. Watch this nut job with her. I didn't even know what these were. I had to go look up like what is on her eyes, and those are deep puff patches, and I think they go for $100 or something like that. And then she's wearing, a very expensive puff jacket. Your life's not that hard, sweetheart, but go ahead and watch her ask for someone to kill Trump.
If you're going through it right now, I just want you to think of the inevitable day, hopefully sooner than later, that you wake up one morning, just a random morning, and the sun is shining just somehow a little bit brighter. It's like 75 to 80 degrees, but there's a slight breeze. It's not too hot. You open your phone, breaking news. You hear chanting in the street. You hear sounds of celebration. You go downstairs and you join in on that celebration. You are dancing your way through the entire day. Everyone is elated. There's a feeling of relief going through our society. All because of this breaking news. I want you to hold on to that feeling. Yeah. Because we know what's going to happen. It's just like a matter of when.
Ask yourself, when's the last time you heard any Republican or any conservative calling for Joe Biden to be killed, or Kamala Harris to be killed, or Mayorkas to be killed? There isn't. And we would shut those people down. Now, do I want them arrested? Yes. Do I want them held accountable for treason? Yes. And what is the punishment, the maximum punishment for treason? Well, it's death. But I want them afforded their constitutional rights. I don't want someone to walk up behind Biden and blow what's left of his brains out. I don't want anyone to do that to Mayorkas, who I think is an utter absolute traitor. No. We have rules and laws here in America. No one's calling for the assassination of any political leader on the left. And yet the left remains silent. The left remains silent. It's like the Christians and the Muslims. The Muslims are killing the Christians and no one's saying a damn word. If the Christians were killing the Muslim, we would all be saying, hold on a second. What's going on? Stop. Can't use the Christian name and kill Muslims indiscriminately. It's the same thing here. No one's calling for this to stop. There's no one in the Democrat Party calling for this to stop. No one. I pulled this clip because I still can't believe this is the clip I'm going to show you next of Donald Trump's attempted assassination in Butler, Pennsylvania. We have no answers. We have no answers at all, except some little dweeby dude climbed up on top of a metal roof and rang out 5 to 7 shots at at the alpha male. And the Secret Service wasn't prepared, and there's no communication, and nobody had line of sight, and on and on and on and on. And then, no, it's over. Let's move on. There's no way my audience is okay with this. There's no way that anyone that has two brain cells rattling around is okay with this. If this was Biden and some guy shot at him and hit him in his ear and tried to almost came within a quarter of an inch of blowing his face off, I want some answers instead of, oh yeah, we just had bad security that day but he's dead. Let's all move along. Even me, who has no love lost for that just arrogant bastard Biden, and now that he's brain dead. But I would say, wait a minute, hold on, slow down. You don't wrap up a case like that. Where's the social media? No social media. He did it by himself? Yep, he's a lone wolf. There's no such thing as lone wolves. They don't exist. They don't exist. Go ahead and play this, please. I just want to play this because I want you to remember what we're talking about. This is what it looked like, sounded like. And then everyone, when Trump is on the ground, remember, there is a father, a husband, dead right behind him. Dead for going to a parade.
That said, take a look at what happened.
Moving his spear. Hold. When you're ready. On you.
Ready?
Move.
Up.
Move. Go.
Hawkeye's here.
Hawkeye's here. Move it to the spear.
Spear, get ready. Spear, get ready.
We ready? Are we good? Shooters down. Are we good to move?
We're
Let's
clear.
move. Let's move.
We're clear.
Come on.
Let me get my shoes.
I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes, sir.
Hold that in your head. It's bloody.
So we gotta move to the bus. Let me get my shoes.
Watch out.
Wait.
You can cut it there, Logan. If you don't hate the left, I don't know what I could show you. If you don't despise the left, the baby murderers, the child mutilators, the assassinations, the USAID laundering of money to all their friends while you get stuck paying bills, living month to month, paycheck to paycheck. If you don't despise the left, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. First sponsor, Bella Grace. Shop bellagrace.com/truth. Shop bellagrace.com/truth. Have my sleep gummies, been taking them, my restorative sleep gummies. They are helping me slow my brain down at night in order for me to sleep. I feel like I'm turning into Donald Trump, where I'm just sleeping a couple hours a night, and I know that's not good. I'm not built like Donald Trump. I can't do what he does like that and go on forever and ever. So I need it. My wife and I are using the elixir for collagen. As both of us are getting older, and you lose, I think it was Dr. Lucky was telling me, like massive, significant percentage of your collagen just over time. It's just you begin to lose it. And we're starting to take it now. We're about our second day, and I'm ready to report back after a good 30 to 60 days of what it has done for us and how we feel. This is an incredible product. Dr. Lucky's been on our show. who created it, all natural. It's amazing. Collagen, cat claw in it. And it's all, I get peer reviews. I get the, Melissa House sends me or has sent me all of the testimonials. And Brandon and Melissa House swear by it. So that's good enough for me to why I would try it. And I am trying it now, and I am excited to see how it's going to feel, how it's going to make me feel. So go to shopbellagrace.com/truth. All right. You go from one very difficult topic to another. And my title in this are Children Are for Sale. They are. They just seem to be. No one's doing anything to stop the child trafficking in America of illegal alien children and our own children. No one's punished. I did a documentary on this called What is Treason Trafficked? I'm going to show the trailer at the end of this segment because I want you to see, what I saw, and what I continue to see. Pedophilia, raping children is the last taboo in America, and yet we have been actively trying to normalize this for a very, very long time. We have NAMBLA, National Organization of Man-Boy Love Association. And we cheer as they go down in the pride parade, as they're floating down, dancing naked. And we're all cheering. Isn't this great? Aren't those wonderful men? No, those men want to have sex with boys. They want to change the age of consent. And we're all sitting there like stupid seals, just clapping and harping. Oh, isn't this wonderful? Hey, you got any more food I can jam in my face? We live in a perverse world now. We do. There's a priest that I mentioned out of Tennessee that was on the Sean Ryan show, and he said, we are the most evil society in the history of mankind. And he said it, and I didn't flinch. I was like, yeah, dude, I believe you. I agree with you 100%. We are America. We are, just so you know, we are the largest producer and exporter of pornography in the world. Straight out of Los Angeles, number one. Not America, Los Angeles. Exports it all. I have a young son and pray every day for his future wife, that she is a good, strong Christian woman, that God protects her now as a young woman and prepares her for my son as my son prepares himself for her. And this pool of women shrinks every single day. One way that I parent, if you will, is my son and I will drive to school or drive to practices or whatever we're going to do. If it's a long trip, we'll just listen to podcasts. And it's my way of not browbeating him like, son, you need to understand this, and you need to understand that. No, I like him. He's a great critical thinking young man. So we'll just watch podcasts, and a 30-minute podcast might take us, 2 days of driving, because he just pauses it and says, well, Dad, what did he mean by that? What is that? And I'll explain it to him. And then I'll just ask him a simple question. Well, what do you think of that? Then he will start to think and tell me about what he believes. And some of the stuff then popping up is Charlie Kirk and then one of the dating podcasts. But it's as horrible as it is to show my son, these are the women out there, and these are the women that this is what they think. Not all of them, obviously, but this is the new societal exception. This is the new societal norms, to have multiple partners settle down when you're 30, 35, out of childbearing age, and no mention of God, and cheating is just part of the world. And my son is horrified. I said, well, this is the example of what you never want. You never want this. Don't go into anything trying to change anybody. This is who they are. But this is the society that we're living in. It's perverse. It's sexually perverse. It doesn't make sense. It's illogical. And this is one of the manifestations of this insanity. And I just pulled up, and I'm going to show you. If you can pull, this is an article or excuse me, X post. Logan, you can pull this up. This is schools. I think this was the first month of 2025. 181 teachers in schools arrested for pedophilia, messing with the students. 181. I always like to say this in law enforcement. Do you think that is the law enforcement is batting 1,000? Meaning 181 people committed heinous acts, teachers committed heinous acts against their students, and we're talking kindergarten to senior 12th grade, okay? Kindergarten to 12th grade. And you're telling me that law enforcement is batting 180 out of 180 times. We went up to bat against Nolan Ryan 181 times, and we got 181 hits. Of course you didn't. Of course this isn't the only group of pedophiles in our schools. Dennis Prager says, and I believe in this, what he says, run right now and grab your child if they're in public school and pull them out. Pull them out. And they're all going to get their jobs back. Or they're going to sit in like they call it, the teacher's detention, and they're just going to get paid forever. Well, what does one of these teachers look like really up close? I want to show you. This dude teaches children. Can we stop for 1 second and say, where the hell is the superintendent? Where in the hell is the principal? And in bigger schools, where is the dean of that department? You pull this guy aside and say, no, I would be afraid to be in close proximity to you, sir. But you can't. Why can't you say anything? Because they're protected by the NEA. They're protected by the union. This isn't an anomaly. This is a everyday occurrence, people. If I saw that guy walking down the street, I would ball up my fist and be like, okay, either he's going to walk by me, everything's going to be okay, or he's going to say something or do something. I'm going to cave his skull in. But either way, I'm ready. I'm not walking by him going, oh, it's all good. Everything's great. It's wonderful. Long-haired dude with purple hair and earrings and stuff. Oh, yeah, I should not be alarmed in any way. Red flag shouldn't be going up. My hair shouldn't be standing on the back of my neck. I'm a bigot if I did that. Public schools. Let me just, all the parents out there, wherever, anyone that has connections to children, meaning your uncle, an aunt, a grandma, grandpa, or your brother or sister, and you're older and then you have younger. Where do you go fishing for trout? Do you go to the Walmart parking lot and cast your reel out into the concrete and pray that you get a fish? Or do you go to the trout farm that's a quarter mile away? You can walk to it. You don't have to put bait on your hook, and you just drop it in there, and then the fish are so dumb they're just biting something shiny, and you're just yanking one trout after another. If you're a pedophile, are you going to go get a job dealing with the average public during the day, say a UPS store, and all you're dealing with is men and women? and you have no contact with children? Or are you going to be a teacher? Or are you going to work at amusement parks? Use your common sense, America. Understand what the hell's going on here. And we as a society has almost normalized this as, well, okay. I mean, growing up, I don't even remember this happening. Right? I don't even remember it happening in my circle. Now I remember it happened like on the nightly news, I'd hear it, but it would be so random, so obscure that people would lose their mind. Like, what? How did that monster get in there? Throw him in jail, throw away the key, kill him. Now it's like, well, there's 181 that we know about first month. It's okay. It's only 181. Guy had purple hair. Don't worry about it. No red flags. He was a good dude. I don't understand I never seen him do that before. Unbelievable. I'm going to show you, Jack Posick posted this, and this guy he interviewed is David Mamet, and he describes how many pedophiles, why so many pedophiles are found in teaching positions. Let's just watch this. This is a short clip.
An epidemic is going across the country. It's been happening for years at this point. But let's just look at the numbers that we've got from this year. Over 180, I believe it's 181 total, educators are facing charges for child sex crimes in our schools so far just this year, 2022. According to Post Millennial, we've got 153 teachers, 12 teachers' aides, and 12 substitute teachers with an average of several arrests per day in 2022. And this is among, by the way, K to 12. K to 12. What are we doing? Why is it that our schools are filled with pedophiles? Educators, teachers' assistants, substitute teachers, right? This is by the way, I think it was John Dillinger when they went back and asked him, why do you rob banks? And he said, that's where the money is. Well, why is it that we have so many pedophiles taking jobs as educators? It's simple. That's where their targets are.
It's where the targets are. And it's true. It's where the targets are. Logan, do you have that next clip with David in it? So I thought that. Yeah, he's the guy with the brown jacket on. Do you have that queued up? Okay, let's watch that. Thanks, man.
But we have to take back control. If there's no community control of the schools, what we have is kids being not only indoctrinated, but groomed in a very real sense by people who are, whether they know it or not, sexual predators. Are they abusing the kids physically? No, I don't think so. But they're abusing them mentally and using sex to do so. This has always been the problem with education, is that teachers are inclined, particularly men, because men are predators, to pedophilia. And that's why there were strict community strictures about it. Thank God. So this started to break down when the schools said, you know what, we have to teach the kids about sex. Why? Because what if they don't do it at home?
I don't want teachers teaching anybody about sex unless it's like health and we're discussing the human body. Why are English teachers talking to children about sex? Because they're a teacher? I was in education for 2 years right after the Border Patrol. I tried it out. I worked under the superintendent. I'll never, ever do that again. Because it's insanity. It's a system created in the World War II era to push out, people that work in industries and warehouses and pressing stuff and mass production. It's a failure now. I'm not talking about there's great teachers. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the system. The system is just corroded. And then you throw in bad teachers, and you throw in teachers that would be fired in any other industry. And then instead of teaching math or science or PE or English, well, no, they feel as if they're psychiatrists. But see, because they're mentally ill and are transgender or sexually confused furries, well, then they feel as if they, of course, they have a connection with a child, and we'll just confuse that child. We'll have the rainbow flag in my. Why is a rainbow flag allowed to fly in school? Why? I don't want a Democrat flag or Republican flag. I don't want any of that stuff. I want you to have pictures of whatever you're teaching up, something inspirational. There's a thing called the Trevor Project. And this lady is going to talk about it for a minute and a half. And she's going to talk about the pedophilia in the school and the grooming. It's shocking, but it's true. I don't know. We have it up, Logan? I don't.
Can you please add one sentence to exempt pedophilia or minor attracted persons from an evolving sexuality? And they refuse to do it. It tells kids, this is what it says, step by step. Number 1, upload a tiny picture of yourself to the app. Number 2, the app works out your location. Number 3, the app tells you who the nearest homosexuals are. Number 4, you then chat with them. Number 5, because they are near, it's easy to meet up with them. I said, why is this in the Knowledge Mobile? And he said, I'm getting pressured by commissioners and politicians. They are using the suicide hotline as an indoctrination tool to normalize all of these genders. They had a gay men's club, but the tagline was, let's talk about boys. The Trevor space, this whole suicide prevention and how they are using this as a cover-up for something that I believe is using our schools as a pipeline to human trafficking. I spoke at the National Educators Association. They let me speak, but when I brought up the Trevor Project, the president, Becky Pringle, cut me off immediately. The Trevor Project is a sacred cow. You cannot touch it.
I'm going to dive into that Trevor Project here pretty soon and start to understand it at a deeper level and come back and report on it with you. But I've heard about this many, many times before. All of it's a cover for human trafficking in children. It's happening in America all day, all night. I testified in front of Congress about it. My testimony ended with there's 1,000 children right now that I know of, thousands of children that are being raped right now as you and I are speaking to each other. And the Republicans and the Democrats talked about white supremacy and patriarchy and then closed the hearing down. And nothing got done. Nothing. I did a documentary called What is Treason Traffic with Ryan Matta. And I just figured, you know what? This is a good place. I want to just show you the trailer. This is one of our trailers. But this is happening in our country, that shiny city on the hill country called America. Critically acclaimed, very proud of that work. I never thought I was going to get into child sex trafficking, never in a million years. I think that was my life trajectory at that time. Unfortunately, it was. So I feel called to talk about this. Where are the children? 550,000. We're just talking about not our children. We're talking about the ones we imported over 4 years, 550,000 of them. The federal government's admitted to losing over 320,000 of them. President Trump has been in office for almost 60 days, and we have not found one of them. Just putting it out there. You need to be prepared You need a way for your child to call you. And you can't or never want your child to be in a position that we just saw when there's no cell service or there's no anything. And you want to be prepared. And the way I do it with my son is we go through scenarios. We talk about this, what I want you to do if this happens, and this, we go to the nearest adult and get to a cell phone. If you have a cell phone, go ahead and put a 911 out. They'll track your number. But what if they can't? So that's why I got a sat phone from sat123.com. I'm looking at my sat phone. It's right here. I don't have it in me, in the box. Got the box here. Sat123.com. Free sat phone with a subscription, a free sat phone. Go to sat123 / JJ, sat123.com / JJ. Be prepared. I have Chris on my show every Friday talking about the products and everything that it all comes down to. Just be prepared. You never know. I don't want this to be anything that happens to your family ever. But be prepared. My son goes to school with a ballistic backpack. I think it's free right now, if I'm not mistaken. If you buy another product, they actually throw that in there. It's amazing. My son has a backpack that has a ballistic shield in it, and it's so sturdy. It feels and looks like a regular backpack, but he's a thrasher. Like, he goes to sports and jumps fences and all that, banging it around. It's still great. I'm going to be able to use it again next year. It looks brand new. And they have every product that you need to be prepared. Don't want to get a sat phone? You want to just get something that connects your connects your cell phone to be a satellite phone? You can get a Bivy, a Bivy, and it attaches to your phone, your cell phone, and you can use it. I just believe in the company. I think it's a great company, and I am all for being prepared. It's like when I used to go on duty. Have my uniform pressed, have everything ready. My boots look good. I put on my uniform, put my duty belt on. I physically look and touch and feel everything on my duty belt to make sure I have it. So I'm prepared. The last thing I want to do is go out into the field and where's my gun? Where's my flashlight? Where's my taser? You be prepared. This same thing here. This is life. Just be prepared. Sat123.com / JJ. Well, my next one I want to just talk about is the Democrats. And I believe the Democrat Party is dead. It's dead man walking. They haven't figured it out yet, but they're dead. Nothing that they're selling, people are buying. In fact, no one ever bought it. It was all, if you think about it, when Republicans, let me rephrase that, because I don't believe in Republicans. When conservative constitutional Americans believe in something, they never force you, do they? We don't say, you got to believe in the Second Amendment and you have to believe in X, Y, and Z. No, we just say, this is why we believe in it, and I think you should look into it. That's our sales pitch all the time. That's it. The left never sell us anything. It's always in the barrel of a gun. You need to do this. Oh, you're going to do it or you're going to lose your job. Oh, I'm going to cancel you. You can't. Okay, you've been making money doing videos and your production team is working. No, I'm canceling you. You're going to lose everything. That's how the left does it, because they're evil. Let's listen to what Trump says to Maria Bartiromo on the Sunday show last Sunday.
Surprised at the Democrats' behavior the other night, because you delivered among the most diverse, expanded audience, Republicans, Democrats, independents. Yeah. So is it just the Democrat leadership that does not see that?
There's something wrong with them. It's just something, I can't even believe it. They lost an election in a landslide. They were talking about men playing in women's sports. When I looked the other night, I made a speech. The Republicans were going wild, and the Democrats were having their little signs up, their little tiny signs. And I said, it's unbelievable. They don't get it. They don't get it now. And I think they're going to end up being a minor party if they keep going like this, because people don't want to hear about these stupid ideas that they have. Transgender for everybody. And again, the men and women's sports, what is that, a 90 to 10 deal? I don't even know who the 10 would be. But they're fighting for it. And I try and say to myself, because you always like to understand where your opponent is, whether it's in business or anything else, is there something I don't understand? But we don't understand it.
He's right. You try to understand it, but it's insanity. But here's what we do know and try to understand is that all of the left are corrupt, and they're using the federal government as a gigantic ATM. Not an ATM, a bank. You drive up and park your truck, and they just load it filled with bundles of money, cash. Here's someone that did it. This is Stacey Abrams with the giant gap teeth, stating to you, trying to make you understand how she created an NGO, a nonprofit NGO, that had $100 in its bank account, and then the government infused it with $2 billion. What for? Well, let's let Stacey Abrams tell you, because she's a very smart woman.
One of the ironies of the attack on you, and I'm going to play what he did, was that my understanding is the program at the source of this whole thing is a program to lower costs for people. Do I have that top line correct?
You have it absolutely right.
Okay, so I'm gonna play what he had to say, and then I'm gonna ask you to explain what the program is that was such an obvious, ludicrous laugh line for the Republicans there. Take a listen.
$1.9 billion to recently created Decarbonization of Homes Committee, headed up, and we know she's involved. Just at the last moment, the money was passed over by a woman named Stacey Abrams. Have you ever heard of her?
Okay, so what is this organization? What is your relation to it, and what does it do?
In 2023 and 2024, I led a program called Vitalizing DeSoto. We worked in a tiny town in South Georgia to demonstrate that by replacing energy inefficient appliances with efficient appliances, you can lower your cost. And in fact, we accomplished that. For 75% of the community, they got appliances that are lowering their bills right now. We had one woman who saw her electric bill cut in half from $180 to $98. That's what we delivered. And based on that program, a coalition of organizations, famous organizations, came together and said to the EPA, if we can do this here, we can do this for millions more Americans. Let us invest the money of America in lowering the cost for Americans. And the EPA said, okay, great, go for it.
Okay, go for it. So let me get this straight there, Gaptooth. You need $2 billion. How many households do you need to cut their stuff in half? And just so we're clear, 180 to 98 isn't 50%, but let's go ahead and just play that out. So you save that woman $90, right? Or $82, whatever her half is, $90. Let's just play the game at $90. What? $90 divided into 2 billion? Holy mother of God. That's what we're going to spend $2 billion to help someone save $90? Well, let's go to DeSoto and find out like really what she did in DeSoto. And here's a guy that, what I love the internet is just these small investigative journalists that pop up from nowhere and then just go and do their own little research and go, whoa, hold on a second. She's lying. In fact, if you go back and you watch that small clip, short clip with Stacey Abrams, anyone that has done any kind of investigative or interview style, you know she's lying. She's stumbling all over herself. She has no idea what she's saying. But watch this guy talk about DeSoto.
Hey guys, did you see where that $2 billion of that money for Stacey Abrams went down in Georgia? Let me show you this. It went for refrigerators in an eco-friendly 67 people in DeSoto, Georgia. 67 people, $2 billion. what is that, 25, 26 million each? Did they get that? Where did it go? Watch this.
In 2023 and 2024, I led a program called Vitalizing DeSoto. We worked in a tiny town in South Georgia to demonstrate that by replacing energy inefficient appliances with efficient appliances, you can lower your costs. And in fact, we accomplished that. For 75% of the community, they got appliances that are
Just lies. All of it. Let's go down, as Donald Trump said, the transgender movement, to show you the depths of insanity of the left. Here is a man claiming to be a woman speaking on women's rights. You can't make this up. It's a small clip, but it kind of gives you an idea of the insanity that we've been force-fed for over a decade now.
For cis women, BIPOC women have to do it for white women, all women have to do it for men, and we are sick of it. It was women teaching me that there is no definition that anyone can find to define what is a woman that excludes me, that does not also exclude millions of cisgender women. Women born without a uterus, women born with chromosomal incongruities, women with hormone imbalances, women with facial hair. According to the Boston Children's Hospital, 1 in every 5,000 women is born without a vagina. There is no way to say that trans women do not belong without also saying that all of them are not women either, and I dare you to say to their faces they are not.
Well, dude, you're not a woman. And I will highly question 1 out of 5,000 women are born without a vagina. I think I would have heard that before tonight. I really do. I think that would have been like a front page news type of thing where what in God's name's going on in that category? You can't make this up. But I tell you what, you can look at this and understand that there are corporations and companies that are backing them. Corporation companies that you buy your food from, you push your cell phone service from, those organizations, the big box stores, fund these insane ideas. Black Lives Matter. Defund the police. So why are you giving your money to them? Go to Patriots Made with an S, patriotsmade.com/JJ, and go buy products that are American made by Americans. No metals, no mRNA, no more any garbage, just made for Americans in America. And they don't hate you. That's always a plus, I think. Buy things from people that don't hate you. I think that's a good tagline. Maybe I'll trademark that. The left are crazy. And I say this all the time. We need to mock them. Mock them. The great Rush Limbaugh used to say all the time, the left are humorless. They have an inability to laugh. That's why they suck at memes. They hate the fact that we are excellent at memes. Because we have hope. Americans have hope now that we have a great president driving the mission of trying to become the shiny city on the hill again. We're far away, but if we keep fighting, we're going to get back there because we're going to make America great again. I believe in that.
All right, welcome to Code Blue, Dr. John and Brooke. It is March the 12th, 2025. So we are here today, and the topic we're going to cover is a topic that many people on this channel, the audience that watch Brandon House, is probably familiar with. It's talked about a lot, but from my standpoint, from being a medical doctor for 30 plus years. I started medical school when I was 25. I'm 58 now. And before I went to medical school, I got a degree in electrical engineering. And so I worked a couple years as an electrical engineer. And so, technology has always been something that I've enjoyed. I always wanted to learn more about science and physics and mathematics and electricity and electronics and et cetera. My senior project when I was electrical engineer was taking, developing a chip, or at least in theory, that would take video and would, like a video camera, for example, transport it over a modem, basically turn it into a digital signal, and receive it at the other end and propagate it back into a video signal. So this was in 1989. And so if you could think back in those days, this would have been very revolutionary. Of course, I was, and so we see what happened not many years after that with the internet, and of course today that that almost seems childish as just a thought, because we can do that and so much more. So with that, transhumanism, that's what we want to talk about, because when I was in medical school in the 90s, I believe it was 1999, I want to say January 1999, Time magazine had on its front cover about genetic engineering and how that was going to revolutionize medicine. Okay, so that was 25 years ago, and today that's where we're at. This whole genetic engineering is really the push of modern medicine. It is, we see it in so many ways, as far as, we want to create a human life that is smarter, healthier, stronger, etc. And so, we can take babies now, and we can kind of order